here, and today I want to show you how to take your solid stamped images from great to absolutely wow with this whole nother level of realism using color pencils. It's really simple to do and it makes an amazing impact on your stamped images, and it's just another great technique to add to your repertoire. Today I am using some images from the Paper Tray Ink Stamp Set Mixed Bouquet. That's the 2018 anniversary set, but you could do this with any solid images that you have. I'm going to start with stamping my image onto just a plain piece of white cardstock, the cardstock that I use for the bases for all my cards. I'm using Distress Oxide inks today just because they happen to be my personal favorite right now. I love them. I love the coverage I get from them, but you could do this with any ink, any dye-based ink, any pigment-based ink. As long as the ink is dry, you can go ahead and layer your color pencils over the top of the image. And here you can see I'm just finishing off stamping my image with the pieces and parts. I'm going to use my Prismacolor pencils today, and those are my favorite color pencils. I really like the color and I like the intensity and I like the ability to blend with them. I've chosen 3 colors for the flower part. I've chosen a yellow that's a little darker than the yellow that I stamped, an orange in the same color family but adds a little difference in color, a little contrast, and then a greenish brown color to add some especially dark contrast. I'm going to flip my image upside down because I like to color in the direction I want my color to go. And one of the things I want to talk about is I want the light to be coming from that side of the image. So I'm going to make sure that all the shading that I do is going to fall on the far side of my petals, or where the sunlight or any light would not be hitting that image. I'm just following the outline of the floral image, following the pattern of the stamp, and just creating some really great shadows. And you can already see with just a little bit of coloring the depth that I've already added to these petals by using this color. And don't forget about the little bud down there too. I'm using just some small basic strokes, just some coloring, nothing fancy, nothing too technical here. I'm going to go back in with this orange color to add some contrast. I'm going to follow the outline of the first color I put down. So I'm adding this orange very gently, very lightly, just along the top or the outer edge of what I have colored. When you're coloring, you can go ahead if you want to and blend your color with your pencils using the lightest of the 2 colors, or you can use the blending pencil. I'm going to go in with this dark brown, and I'm going to make sure, it's not a dark brown, but it's a greenish brown, that I'm starting from the darkest spot out. So I'm going to start from that brown spot and just gently work that color over the top of my images and on the very outside edge, causing the deepest shadow. I don't want to add a whole lot of this, just a little bit to make contrast. And you can already see the difference by just adding it around that outside edge. As you continue to add color to these images, with the Prismacolor pencils, you are going to get a bit of waxy buildup, and that's okay. I actually like that buildup because I can play with that a little bit more. I can add more color, and I can use my blending pencil to go ahead and blend that out and add some smoothness to it. Yep, and once again, I got to remember to go down and do on the little bit of bud there. I'm going to add a lot more depth to the bud because I feel like the bud is smaller and it's going to have a lot more intense color than like the bigger flower, which is more open. Make sure when you're coloring images like this that you take a step back and pull it away and look at it from farther away, because sometimes close up it can look kind of like a mess, and it really isn't. It's just you've been staring too closely. So I always encourage you, no matter what you're coloring with, to pull it back from yourself and take a step back and look at it. I needed just a little bit more contrast on my image to really get the depth that I wanted, so I went and grabbed just a deeper brown color to add those final accents. And now you can really see how much this image is popping just from some simple coloring. Once I've finished with the petals, then I'm going to go to the flower center. I'm going to use that same brown I've been using to add the deeper accents and just work on building up around the bottom of this raised floral center. And here I've grabbed my blender pencil and I want to try to blend that out so there isn't so much contrast between the stamped image and where I have been coloring. And the pencils are roly-poly, so I have to keep tucking them behind a block so that they stay in place. This is just another deeper brown color that I'm adding in to, once again, just add that final contrast. And I'm going to blend it out a little bit using the first pencil that I used. Always go back and blend with your lighter color, whether you're using color pencil or you're using a Copic marker. I've made sure that the tips on my pencils here are incredibly sharp because of the detail on the stem and the detail on these small leaves. I'm just going to be outlining the image that's already there, and the same for this little bit darker green. I'm going to go slightly to one side of it, but not a ton. And again, adding some accents to the bottom of my leaves and my stem here with just a deeper green color. I think this is so much fun. I love the detail that you can add doing this. And I'm going to add just a little bit of brown up at the top because where that stem is, it's hidden under the flower. And I want to make sure that it's not showing up as light and as bright as everything else. And that's it. That's how you can take a great stamped image to an amazing stamped image. I hope you've liked this technique. It's super easy to do and beautiful. Give me a thumbs up if you do. And don't forget to click subscribe for more ideas like this.